have, for the most part, too bad. This is heads. He's not spoiled. This is heads. No. It's harder to catch, and this is tails. So they're going to go first, and you guys get the last word at the end. Hit it, kids. Do not read. Go.
We're arguing again. So we think that it's imperialistic for the United States to be coercing nations into adopting strict population control policies. It's imperialistic because it undermines their sovereignty. Sovereignty is basically like a government governing with no role of external agents in its domestic structures. So if we force policies on them, that we would be violating most basic precepts in international law, basically, which is don't mess with other nations' sovereignty. We also think that the motivations for imperialistic policies like this one would be the motives are sometimes hidden. So I think he has some.
Well, the National Security Study Memorandum 200 was something published by the American government in like 1970, and Richard Nixon approved it, and he was like one of the first two presidents to have an impeachment trial because he was a pretty shifty guy, and he was pretty for like getting into other countries' business that we're giving foreign aid to, because we're giving foreign aid to these countries because we wanted their natural resources, and if they have more population, they'd be taking more of these natural resources that we wanted.
And we don't want to be too cynical, but we're just throwing it out there that motives may not always be what they seem. And then we also think that strict population control policies can interfere, like in the last debate we're talking about reproductive rights, and reproductive rights is written into the UN Declaration of Human Rights. I think it's like the 9th article or something. And so it's like one of the most basic human rights is, right to your own body, right to your own reproduction. And, these kind of policies have led to things like forced sterilization, like the Native Americans in the 1970s, actually, by our own government. There's the Kissinger Doctrine, which is basically they used population control to fight communism during the Cold War. China's one-child policy has led to female infanticide and personality deficits. There's been forced sterilizations in Uzbekistan, and it can just lead to some pretty crazy stuff. So just want to keep that in mind. So I think less extreme methods are, even if they are strictly enforced, so like birth control or whatever, they're not really as effective on a large scale. This guy who has worked a lot in population control said the only methods that have been proven to be really effective have been wide-scale abortion. So, I mean, you can adopt less strict policies, but they're not going to be as effective as you'd like them to be. So the population control mechanism will tend to want to use at least extreme methods, and in the past they've been given
before we get to Will's
Flashing out.
anger management issues, I want to actually put a face on this conversation and discuss this little place called Haiti. Some of you might know that Haiti is one half of a large island in the Northern Caribbean. Haiti is the poorest country in the Americas and one of the poorest nations on earth. They have one of the shortest life expectancies, one of the highest infant mortalities, one of the highest incidences of preventable disease anywhere on the planet. Haiti has an epidemic of AIDS, which they basically have to ignore because they've got bigger problems like an epidemic of diarrhea. Haiti needs a lot of help. And by the way, they've had a mix of bad government, corruption, victimization through imperialism, and like a triple whammy, like yearly litany of natural disasters. For a country like Haiti, do we say, sorry bro, you can't get your house in order, we're not going to be able to help you, you die? Or do we say, sure Haitians, we'll keep feeding you for a while, and they just make more hungry Haitians?
As a onlooker, we kind of reverted this back to what you said.
Yeah, I really don't think that that's the debate at all.
It's all about population.
It's all about you're completely ignoring the population control. It's one of those saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because they can't control. Because they can't control the population. Right?
No. Okay, wait. Okay, well, I want to go back to what you said because you said that they have to get dropping birth rates before they go through the demographic transition. What's the first stage? What happens before that?
You have to drop death rates, which is both steps.
No. Development. Development is the first part of it. So that if they don't have any development at all, they have no infrastructure, which is a lot of the countries we give money to, they have no development at all. They haven't even really started developing. So you need to start developing before you drop population or before you drop birth rate, or else you're just going to have chaos.
But that's not the issue either. The issue is population control.
No, that's what he said.
Let me say what I'm saying. They let them, they develop. We give them money to develop. But what we're saying is that afterwards, once they have a foundation, we need to enforce strict population control, not just say, okay, we're done.
When you agree to start giving someone financial aid, you say, as we begin to develop, you're going to institute population control. Otherwise, birth rates never drop, and you get a failed demographic transition, and you're just getting much larger.
But that's not the way I framed it.
In poor countries, off the ground, one stop the ground, it's up to them to control the birth rate.
No, what I'm saying is that if they haven't started developing yet, then dropping birth rates is not going to do anything anyway. It's just going to mess them up.
It's simultaneous. Develop and drop birth rates.
That's fine. So what foreign aid is, isn't necessarily promoting the development.
Yeah, most of U.S. foreign aid is
There is no benefit to speaking when someone else is speaking.
Okay, good.
It actually does give a benefit because reducing the child dependency ratio actually gives families more income per child. With public income that boosts the economy, so that's more investment for development. Just on the counter with babies because they're less dependent, there are less children, so productive worker. So even if like what you're saying is that you can't develop without well-insane population control at the same time, but that's actually not true. The reason that certain countries Asian giants have had such explosive development is because their birth rate didn't drop immediately afterwards, so they had this huge explosion in population, but then they reduced their birth rate immediately afterwards, so they had this huge explosion of productive people. They had a huge number of people working at a lower dependency ratio. You can do that by dropping the time.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that. I said
Let me put a sock in there for a minute. I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that I will be calling the debate over in 5 minutes, regardless of who's speaking or the outcome.
Okay, so I didn't say that industrialization and dropping birth rates can't happen simultaneously. I said if a country has no development and you don't help them also with that development, then you're not going to have talk. And no one said that. You guys didn't lay enough foundation to argue. You didn't lay enough foundation to argue. And what you're saying about the demographic moves is that it doesn't. You kind of ignore, like we learned this in our video, right? That you can't. A lot of families rely on a lot of children. That's why they have it is for like utility because they have a big farm and they need a lot of workers, or they need a lot of, they need some sort of social security. They need kids taking care of them at old age.
You're arguing development.
Nothing I said that's subsistence. Well, like you can have a farm just for subsistence and need a lot of kids. That has nothing to do with
So if we give them money to help them develop new technologies and stuff that will reduce the number of workers you need, or get them into a more, just a more productive means of farming or doing something like that, then that's development, and then you just need less children.
Sure, long it takes to develop something like that, like infrastructure that's like of that size, like China tried to industrialize that quickly, and they had macroization. It's like, and they have ability. Look where they are now. Yeah, they still have. And they have a population. You want really skilled guys in poor countries.
They institute population
it's gonna be worse if we don't stop. They're just gonna keep starving. There's just gonna be little brown children starving.
So, hold on a minute. Well, he's right. White countries don't usually need development aid. Just throwing it out there. They still get an advance for materialism. Anyway, different question. What's the worst that could happen? You want to avoid what? By requiring population control as part of aid. And you want to avoid what? By providing development aid without a condition of population control. What's your worst thing that could happen that you're avoiding by not connecting the two? What's your worst thing that you're avoiding